guys, Tembo here with your weekly core report. With the holidays almost behind us, we're finishing the year strong with some big hits. Let's get to the winners. Christmas brought us 2 days worth of NFL slates over the weekend, and our members took advantage of it. IPT 007 hit for $2,100. The Guru won $5,500. Oaktown Daily Crusher shipped on 2 separate showdown slates, winning over $40K. Elsewhere in NFL, we're in Best Ball Finals week. Congrats to all our members and contributors who advanced. We'll be covering the final results in next week's core report. In the NBA streets, our members' hot streak continued as well. Dr. Lucky 7 hit for $4,500. Shawnee Wins won $7K. Sweet Boy hit for $23K. And Bossolini 1 topped it off with a $50K shipper in Showdown. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Winner's Circle channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Tournament First Look over here on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain. I'm joined by, as I am every single Wednesday, we got AP, we got Locks. AP, how was your Christmas, man?
It was awesome. It was good. I mean, all these days are kind of blended together. My kids are at home, just on Christmas break. It's just crazy times over here, but no, Christmas was good. Good times with the family. We had a lot of sports on. The NFL slate sucked, but the NBA slate was decent. And we got a good slate we're looking forward to this week.
Yeah, Locks. And speaking of looking forward to stuff, you got to tell the people, man, how was your Christmas? Because you got yourself a nice little gift.
Yeah, Christmas was great, man. The missus blessed me with an iMac desktop, so got that fired up. Just need to get a mic now, and we'll be good to go. But on the old little MacBook for today, and we'll pick some winners again as usual. Just ready to dive into another week of fun.
Yeah, it was funny. You're sitting there. I got my new iMac, and I'm like, I've been doing fantasy sports shows since 2015, and I'm literally still using the same computer I used in 2015. The thing works. Those MacBooks, man, they don't mess around.
That's insane. That's like that's impressive, Craig. Not gonna lie.
It was like I have like a graveyard of MacBooks in my closet that I used to break from playing online poker because I'm a level-headed devil. But like this one, for whatever reason, big swings in DFS still haven't busted it. So this thing is.
I was Crane. I broke a lot of mouses. Like that was those are cheaper, easier to replace. Throw them against the wall, do whatever. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I would like.
You were slamming laptops. That takes it to a whole nother level.
I have like 3 MacBooks that have like just giant fist marks in the screen. Like one time I just took my computer very calmly, set it in the bathtub and ran water all over it. Just like, I'm just done with this thing. Like I was a pure stone cold psychopath. So anyways, well, those days are over. Do
you remember the F-top days, like the full tilt tournaments? I went through probably like 15 mouses during those series, like 2 weeks of just your hammer. Like, there was a lot of good contests.
Yeah, there's a lot of good contests. They were good for everybody that I was playing because I certainly didn't win a single one of those things. I won a W Coupe one time. That was fun. That was actually the best, like the second best financial day of my life because I won a W Coupe for just under 300K, and then I backed a guy who got second in the main event, and he got second for like 700K. That was a good day over in Craneville. We were in the I was up visiting him up in where were we? We were in Vancouver. That was good times. Good times. Also good times is week 17. Shout out to Richie Smalls in the chat for letting me know it was week 17 because at this point, I don't know. We are so bleeping deep into the season that I can't figure out if it's week 17, week 15. I don't know. I'm glad we're here, though. We've got a week this week that we have 2 games that are going to be very popular. We have the Bears and the Lions at the 52.5-point total. Detroit, 5.5-point favorite. That game's going to be one of the most popular games on the slate. Jared Goff, if you like chalk, he's your chalk guy. He's 5.6K. the team, the Detroit Lions, they have a 29-point total. So Jared Goff going to be incredibly popular this week. The other game that's going to be really popular is the Vikings and Packers. We know that the Vikings love to give up points, 48.5-point total there. The Packers 3-point favorites at home. And this is just, one of those slates, locks, where we don't have a lot of high totals. So outside of those two games I just mentioned, I'm not sure we're going to see a ton of chalk.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm trying to decide where I want to go looking at this, obviously, first look. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be paying up for Mahomes this week. It's hard to say that just because the guy's a stud and he can break a slate. But looking at this, I mean, Rodgers is very interesting to me against a terrible Minnesota defense at $6,000. Even Cousins against terrible Green Bay defense. That game's definitely very interesting that you noted right away. But yeah, I don't see anywhere in here where there's going to be like a chalk quarterback this week. Justin Fields, I'm sure he'll get some steam. He looks good against the $7,900 Lions team, or sub for $7,900 against the Lions team. Sorry. But yeah, I think I'm going to be spending it mainly in this mid tier on QB, just looking at the first look this week. So we'll see. Kick it over to AP, get his thoughts, and we'll kind of dive in a little bit more.
Yeah, AP. I mean, what do you think? Because to me, paying up for a guy like Mahomes this week, it'll be contrarian. I'll give you that. And anytime you can pay up for the best quarterback in the world and be contrarian, I have some interest. But it seems to me like Goff is the obvious play.
Yeah, I mean, 8,500, that's a big tag to pay for a guy that's in a spot where, man, the Chiefs, like Kansas City right now, all they want to do is stay healthy, get wins, no matter, how, and then stay healthy. That's like the goal. And they should win out. They're going to beat Denver this week. I mean, there'd be bigger problems if they let Russ cook against them. And he was cooking against them last time, and then he got hurt. So I mean, that is something to discuss. But man, the Bears-Lions game does seem like the chalk spot, and with the 53 total there, I mean, it's hard to argue against it. So it's going to be an interesting slate where, yeah, we should have some definite chalk spots, and then things will kind of spread out outside of those couple of spots.
Yeah. So what about these other situations? Because you look at the slate, I mean, could you play a little Justin Herbert? Yeah, but you're going to have to. Mike White at 5.4 is the craziest play against Seattle. I mean, like, I'm not playing Brock Purdy. I'm not playing Tom Brady. If Lamar comes back, he'll be 1%. Oh, go ahead. I
was going to say, how would we even consider playing Justin Herbert? I mean, this dude has 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns last few games. And one of them, both were decent spots, Tennessee and then the Colts. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, but Justin Herbert right now, very tough to trust.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be playing him either. Locks, is he somebody you would consider?
I'm definitely not on Justin Herbert this week. I was on him at the live final. I took him out to play Mahomes, and the way he's looked the last couple of weeks, I don't think I'll play him the rest of the year. Obviously, there's not much left, but definitely not an interest there. I like the Jared Goff call against Chicago at $5,600. That guy just continues to crush. I never play him, and I keep beating myself up over it. So I think I might throw him in there this week. He's just in a smash spot for us. I like the Mike White call possibly against Seattle at $5,400. Just not a ton of interest. Like you said, I'm not playing Brady. I'm not playing Mac Jones. I'm not playing Tua against New England. So for me, just this first look here, I'm looking at Goff. I'm looking at Rodgers, Fields, Mike White. That's kind of where I'm thinking. So I'm going to be living in the mid tier. It's looking like this week at quarterback.
Yeah. Just about Goff, it seems like, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't keep them straight anymore, but we said that Justin Herbert against Tennessee, that was 2 weeks ago, was just in an absolute smash spot. How can you not play this guy? And then he failed. And it feels like Jared Goff is kind of in the same spot, especially at that price tag. AP, you don't need a lot from the guy at 5,600. If he gets you 20, you're fine. But I mean, the upside is in the 30s there. I mean, if you're fading Goff, it's purely because of ownership, right?
Yeah, I mean, quarterbacks against this Bears team has just been a printer. Josh Allen in bad weather last year, he got it done. Jalen Hurts the week before that. Mike White a few weeks before that, week 12, put up like 28. I mean, man, if you go back to week 10 when these two teams played, though, that kept Goff in check. So, but still, 5,600. It's really hard to pass that up. You got Monroe St. Brown, his favorite target. Very easy correlation there. I think he hit his floor last week. It feels like a guy getting 13 targets, and he still got us almost 15 DK points. Truly feels like a floor result there on 13 targets. So I love that pairing. It's very easy to make it work. Goff 5,600, Amon-Ra St. Brown 7,800. You could go to Fields on the other side. Let's not forget the way to stack that game up when these two teams met the first time this year was to play Justin Fields. He put up a 44 piece on them. I think it was a game where he rushed for 100 yards, a couple touchdowns, threw for a touchdown. I think Cole Kmet might have had a big game. I don't have that stat right up in front of me, but this game's going to be a priority. I love Fields. I love Jared Goff. Can we go? I'm just trying to think outside of the box. Like Danny Dimes, maybe 5,700. Decent matchup there, coming off a nice game, but that was against a better matchup in Minnesota. I don't really have any interest in like Deshaun Watson or Carson Wentz, or there's like a lot of guys we can just cross off, which I kind of like that about a slate, and then we can just key in on some of these options that are just stand out above everyone else.
Yeah, you mentioned Cole Kmet, by the way, best game of the season the last time these two teams faced, and now he gets to play the game in Detroit. I have no problem with Cole Kmet. We'll get to tight ends here in a little bit. Let's move on to some running backs, because obviously if you're paying up, the guy is Christian McCaffrey, though he's coming off a dud, under 14 points in his last game, only 15 carries. Lox, is there concern with you that San Francisco is going to ease back on McCaffrey to get him ready for the playoffs?
Definitely a thought in my head. I try not to overthink those situations too much unless I hear a little bit of it. It just seemed weak, but I'm okay going right back to the guy. Even at 9K, I'll find a way to get different somewhere else. I'll find some value somewhere else. If I'm not spending up at QB, I got it for the running back. So I don't mind playing him this week. Maybe a little hesitation. We'll see as the week goes on, but obviously the first look, it doesn't look too bad for me. Just looking in this top range, if I'm looking up here, I don't know if I want to pay 8K for Barkley against Indy. We'll see how the week shakes out. James Conner's interesting to me, actually, at $7,200. Is probably one of my favorite plays up here. Against a terrible Atlanta D. We've seen he gets all the carries he can handle, all the work he can handle while Kyler Murray's out. So he's probably honestly one of my favorite plays up here. No Josh Jacobs against the 49ers D. They're way too good. To me, looking up here right away, it's Connor and McCaffrey are far and away, I think, the two best plays. Looking at this right away, in my opinion. And then ETN against Houston looks like he's in a smash spot as well.
No Saquon love, huh?
Not this week.
Saquon, 18 targets in his last 2 weeks. If they're going to throw him the football more often against this terrible Indy team, man, I have to have some interest there. And 8,500, or what is he? Yeah, 8K. Man, I do have some interest in Saquon. AP, what's your take on these expensive running backs? Because obviously, he mentioned James Conner. I think Conner is perfectly fine. I've been screwing up the James Conner thing. Like, I am not too proud to admit when I am wrong. I have been fading James Conner, and it has just been a complete disaster, because every time I watch Arizona, which guess what? I don't watch a ton of Arizona Cardinal football games, but every time I watch them, he just gets the ball every freaking time. And it's been my own mistake fading him. I won't be making that mistake going forward. But McCaffrey, I do have some concerns that they're going to pull back a little on his workload. This is a team that wants to win the Super Bowl. And if Brock Purdy's their quarterback, guess what? They're going to have to ride the CMC train. AP, is that a concern for you?
Yeah, when I look at the projections, it's very, very high on McCaffrey. And, we know that projections really dictate ownership and where kind of we all go in the industry. And so, like, for last week, that's why I got off McCaffrey. It didn't even matter for me last week, moving off McCaffrey. But, so it really just depends. The 9K price tag is up there, so that should cap ownership a little bit. The matchup is good against the Raiders, obviously. It comes down to just, how does this game pan out? And what I see with San Fran right now, they got so many ways to get it done. We've seen a nice connection between Kittle and Purdy. And then this team is just, you got Juszczyk. They got so many. They remind me of Kansas City in a way. Just so many different weapons, which can make it pretty volatile on a week-to-week basis. I really like Cam Akers. The volume we saw, we can run on the Chargers. We have little faith in Justin Herbert. I mean, what if the Rams and Baker Mayfield put it to the Chargers? Like, I'm telling you, the Chargers, I would not be surprised if they lost this game. Do they need a win? I don't have the standings up in front of me. I mean, do they need to win out, or they got it clinched, right?
Locks, do you know?
They clinched wild card. So they're in. You'd have to think they want to keep winning. Chat can help us out with that. But Cam Akers, you got to love the volume. I like this spot for running backs. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, all smashed in this matchup. So I think Akers is a really interesting play. I like James Conner too, but I think you can go to Tyler Algier on the other side of that game. The guy's been a beast running the ball. They got kind of a two, like Cordell Patterson has always been a beast when he's in the backfield rushing, but Tyler Algier too, man, he's looked really good out there, and the matchup is a really good one against Arizona. So I like both running backs in that game. Kind of pretty. That's going to get you pretty contrarian too. No one really plays running backs against each other, but I think that you can make the case there. David Montgomery, if we're not on Justin Fields in the passing attack, I think David Montgomery. I mean, kind of a crazy thing because it's been difficult to run in this Lions team for a while, and maybe that. So when I started thinking about it and really dialing in, a lot of that maybe just had to do with game script, and the Lions during that winning stretch that they were on, they got ahead. Other teams were trailing, coming from behind, which forces a different script. But man, they were the Panthers ran all over them. I mean, those holes were massive. So you got to think it's a decent spot there for David Montgomery. So for me at the running back position, I'm not going to let any one person kind of dictate what I do. I'm really going to focus on where I think the best volume and the best game script's at.
I'm going to end up talking myself onto Pacheco again, aren't I?
That's another, man, it's tough because it's a true split right now. And McKinnon is the trusted guy, but if they get the lead, they're fine giving it to Pacheco. And then the problem is at the goal line, it can be anyone that gets it. They got all these gimmicky plays. It was Kadarius Toney last week. So, I mean, that's just the one risk. Like McKinnon, a lot of his touchdowns come on these like 20-yard, like these 20-yard plays where he breaks one and takes it to the house. So it just creates a lot of variance at the Kansas City running back position.
Locks, I'm going to say the name of a guy who I like this week that everybody else is going to say I can't play him after last week, but I think he's got 30-point upside in this spot, and it's going to be 5% owned. What about a little Ramondre?
Yeah, I don't mind that call at all. To me, it depends if Damian Harris is out. Has he been ruled out yet, or is he questionable again? What's going on with him?
Let me see. It's questionable from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so if he's out, I'll gladly smash some Ramondre. If he's in, though, I just don't trust it. I don't trust who's going to get all the work there, so I don't mind it for sure if Damian Harris is out, but I definitely wouldn't go there if Damian Harris is in. The guy I wanted to mention actually down below, Aaron Jones was kind of hobbled, I think, during this last game. So if he's out, A.J. Dillon's actually looked kind of good, and he's going against Minnesota, so I wouldn't mind him at 5,800. I would just pay attention to Aaron Jones and, how much work maybe he's going to get. Chat did just say, too, that the Chargers clinched AP. So that just makes me not even like Herbert at all. I mean, I'll X the guy out completely.
We started this segment talking about these expensive running backs. I like Saquon. You guys like McCaffrey and, Connor at 7,200. But I mean, just discussing it, like this 6K range at running back is absolutely loaded. You have ETN, you have Akers, you have Ramondre, David Montgomery, Jerick McKinnon, if you want to chase that, Miles Sanders, big home favorite against New Orleans, AJ Dillon, if something happens where Aaron Jones is out, Pacheco at 5,600. AP, I'm looking at these guys and I'm saying, I don't need to go up to McCaffrey or Saquon this week.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying too. Like, I'm not going to let any of those kind of big names dictate my decision making this week, because I think we do have a lot of smash spots in the mid range, and I'm sticking to my 2 running back strategy as well. I'm not pivoting off of that. So if I landed with Cam Akers and Tyler Algier,
Allgeier's another one.
I'm just saying it's 5.3K, 6.1K. That's gonna leave you. Like, then you play Goff, like you're gonna you can load up on these stud receivers. Yeah. So I mean, I don't mind that path at all. I will say, just thinking back to like stacks, like Aaron Rodgers has been so bad. Like he's missing a lot too. But yeah, I could just see like this team, they got to keep winning. The mojo's coming back. Rodgers was a few like he missed Christian Watson like twice on what should have been like that first drive that they had. I thought they had a touchdown with Christian Watson there. He's going to get it together here soon, and this is such a good matchup. Man, those Rodgers stacks will be interesting. But as far as running back goes, man, I'm going to keep it simple this week.
The chat says that if that Hurts doesn't play, Gardner Minshew at 5,500. Look, he would be fine. And, the thing about Minshew that we like is that he just chucks the ball. He does not give a shit. He just wants to air it out, which obviously we like from a fantasy standpoint. It's just you're just giving up a lot of projection by going from Goff to Minshew, I think. All right, let's talk about some wide receivers. Obviously, we've already talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown. We like him. We like all the targets. We like the game environment. That's going to be a very difficult, situation for me to want to avoid. Justin Jefferson. Ooh, you like this price? $9,500 for a wide receiver. Locks, can we pay $9,500 for a receiver?
When it's Justin Jefferson, yeah. I mean, I think so. This interesting to me, and just going off of AP's point of Rodgers getting it together. I mean, their coach hasn't lost a game in December since he started with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers always turns it up at this time of the year. I'd be fine running Rodgers, Aaron Jones if he's healthy with Watson, run it back with Justin Jefferson, and then get different elsewhere. That's a very interesting late hammer for me. Just looking at this first look, that could get you a lot of points. So I love Jefferson, even at 9,500. I'm completely okay with it. I think he's in a great spot. I think Christian Watson's in a great spot. Like AP said, he just missed him a couple times last week. But I mean, looking at this, Amon-Ra St. Brown, $7,800, Tyreek Hill, $8,900, Devontae, $8,500. I agree with you guys. I'm going to live in the mid-range at quarterback and running back. I'm going to spend up for all these good wide receivers because this week looks like a week to do that. I could be wrong, but I think I'm going to be spending up for every single wide receiver up in this top tier range.
See, and I'm sitting here looking at a lineup that I've built, and I actually think the mid-range at wide receiver is very strong too. Do you think, AP, that you could play Tyreek Hill? Because if Tua misses and he's dealing with another concussion, and I struggle to believe that Tua is going to play this week. But if he misses, can you play Tyreek Hill with Two Gloves Teddy playing quarterback?
No, I mean, I can't. I don't trust it at all. So then we've seen, I think, didn't Teddy get in like earlier in the season and instantly got hurt? I mean, I don't know. I'll just be I'll be off the Miami situation. It looks like the Vikings, they've clinched the division, but I think they're still playing. I think they're still live against Philly. Like Philly doesn't have everything locked up, I don't think. So the game still should be competitive. And in that case, man, I'm with Locks on Jefferson, 9,500. That's why we're spending. That's why we're living in the mid-range at the running back position to allow us to spend up for Justin Jefferson. The guy's just an absolute monster. I mean, look at the targets, 16, 16, 15 the last 3 weeks. His best game of the year was against the Packers earlier this season, 42 DK points, absolutely smashed. I mean, he's such a good play. And Rodgers is cheap. The stack makes a lot of sense. And then when you consider the other pieces on the Green Bay side, so absolutely love that. I will say, I think the Jets, if Mike White, I believe, is back, and as long as he looks healthy, I mean, that's everything I've seen. It's a early look, but I think Garrett Wilson, I think that we can go right back to the Jets situation too. Some very cheap pieces there as well. So I like that. That game is a little interesting too. I'll
just say Garrett Wilson's a great play.
Yeah.
He is a great freaking play this week.
Yep.
The other thing too is I'm not high on Russ. Obviously, I don't think any of us are. But when Kansas City gets these leads, it creates opportunities for the opposing team, which is why we see opposing receivers and quarterbacks do well against Kansas City. Jerry Jeudy had his best game of the season against Kansas City just a few weeks ago. I think you can go right back to him. He's been an absolute stud. I was high on him last week against the Rams. He got it done, even though they they got absolutely smoked, but still 6 receptions, 117 yards. I think Jeudy is a phenomenal play at 6.4K. I mean, if Russ isn't even looking at Courtland Sutton, I mean, how many times was Courtland Sutton wide open and just like it was crazy. So Jerry Jeudy, I think, is a really good play. And then I'm gonna be living in the Bears Lions game. I think what you do, like you could go Cole Kmet if you're stacking Fields, running it back with Amon-Ra St. Brown. But man, you really want to just pick like one receiver if you want to full stack it. Like Dante Pettis was the guy that got in the end zone last week. It could be Byron Pringle. Those guys are cheap, but man, the target share just has not been there. With Fields, you're getting it done on the ground with his legs, more so than getting it done through the air. So I'll definitely be focused a little bit more on the Lions side and Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Shark, and the Lions receivers there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing St. Brown. Like that's what I'm not going to ask those other guys. So I have a receiver that I brought this guy up on the Morning Wood, and I got laughed off the show. All he did was get 9 targets and score a touchdown.
Is it Snyder's boy?
I don't know who Snyder's boy is. This
Dotson?
guy's under is.
It is
this guy
John Dotson.
It is not Jahan Dotson.
Oh, he had 9 targets last week and a touchdown. Come on.
I
thought I had it.
Sorry, Mr. Dotson. But now this guy is in an even better matchup. He's a little bit cheaper. He's $100 cheaper than he was last week, and it's going to be about 1%. Does that sound like something you would be interested in?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
What if I said it was Brandon Cooks?
I'd be okay with it against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He gets a game against Jacksonville in a dome. He's going to get 10 targets. I mean, $4,800. Sign me up. We're going back to Brandon Cooks.
Hey, Crane, I wasn't laughing at you when you said that.
I appreciate you. Because I got laughed off the freaking show.
Are they still rotating quarterbacks there for the Texans?
Yep.
Sort of.
It makes me less interested, but as a one-off, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's interesting as a one-off, Crane. I don't mind it. I mean, Nico Collins is out. He chucks to Brandon Cooks. He could bust one loose. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. Chat's catching up. They're guessing Cooks. You would be correct, Bodyguard 71. It is Mr. Cooks. And you would also be correct if you click the like button. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. Helps us out over here at Run Pure Sports. And obviously, guys.
Let me add a couple because we got all right. So if you want cheap receivers that are that have a lot of volume upside, Drake London, 9 targets. Yep. Jahan Dotson, the last 3 games he's been crushing. I know this because Snyder loves to tweet about this guy every time he catches the ball. It's Dotson every time. Which all right, it's not. I get what your love is about the Dotson, but come on, man, like better than Terry McLaurin? I mean, come on, it's just a bad take.
I just want to point this out. Jahan Dotson is not better than Terry McLaurin.
Exactly.
I feel like we should just say that
but on the Millie show, it comes up every week. Glocks knows he's on the show.
He tries to convince me every week, and then he tags me every week when Dotson catches a pass. I'm like, bro. So it was funny because DC fired back at him because I think Dotson caught one, but then McLaurin caught one too. So he goes, and you were saying because McLaurin caught one after Dotson. So it's funny. It's Snyder's boy. He has some good games. I get it, but he's definitely not better than McLaurin. Absolutely not.
There's some talk in the chat about Greg Dortch, and at 3K, I guess it's not the craziest thing. He had 11 targets last week, and it was like he was very clearly, if you watch that game, a big part of their game plan going in. I think that you've got to be a little bit careful with that. Do we really think that he's going to be a big part of the game plan? I guess it's possible. Like, you can't really ignore a guy 11 targets for 3K. I don't know. AP, are you on Dortch? Locks, go ahead.
I think sorry, AP, you can go next. I was thinking as far as that goes, I was going to be on Dortch if Brown would have sat out last week. So I think to me, it's all about Hollywood Brown. And if the guy's still limited and he's questionable, it depends on him. If Brown's in, I'm not playing Dortch at all. I think that was a fluke. I don't think I'm chasing that. But I don't mind if you do. I mean, he's Stone Min 3K. So if that's your last piece you land on, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've played worse guys for 3K. That's for damn sure. AP, any other receivers you wanted to touch on?
The Dortch thing, it seemed like it was more of a function of Tampa Bay's game script and taking away DeAndre Hopkins, who, I mean, 10 targets, 1 reception. Obviously, Tampa was successful in what their game plan was. But when you do that, when you take away a team's number one, kind of like what Bill Belichick loves to do, it opens things up. You're look at last week at the Bengals. I mean, it was I don't think that he slowed down Jamar Chase that much, but it opened things up for T. Higgins. So when I look at that, it does seem a little fluky. I'm not going to overreact. It's going to be a completely different defense, obviously, that they're facing this week. So no, I'm not going to be overreact. I think there's better cheap volume receivers this week than Greg Dortch.
Yeah, in the chat says I can see Jameson Williams having a solid game. And look, I love the talent of Jameson Williams. I think next year he and Amon-Ra St. Brown might be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver 1-2 duo in football. But it's not time for him yet. He's just not getting enough routes. That ACL isn't healthy enough. So I would not go to Jameson Williams. Again, he might run 10 routes. Like, he just can't do that. All right, guys, before we jump into tight ends, I just want to let you guys know, check us out over at runpuresports.com. Got a lot going on right there. Obviously, the premium is where it's at. We hang it in the Discord all the time. You get our plays of the day. You get our core plays, the playbook. It is invaluable if you're building not just lineups for football, but for any sport. So make sure you check us out over on runpuresports.com. And while you're at it, do us a favor, click that like button, click that subscribe button. It helps us out over on Run Pure. So let's talk some tight ends. If you're paying up, once again, it's Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce, AP, your boy, it looked like he wasn't going to get there for a bit, still put up the 20-piece. Are we going back to Kelce? This doesn't really seem like a week I can pay $8,100 for a tight end.
I mean, that price tag is up there, as it always is, and he wouldn't have got there. Was that he had that 60-yard catch, broke a tackle, and was just piling over people. So he loves playing Denver because they play him tight, but his fantasy results against Denver haven't been like that good because in this rivalry, AFC West, they just they play Kelce good. So I don't know if I'm gonna find the salary to spend up there, especially when we have like TJ Hawkinson, man. What the amount of targets he got is absolutely insane. 16, 9 before that, 8. I think TJ Hawkinson we're getting at a discount. I really do in this matchup. So I definitely want to go there. 5,400. Man, imagine if a receiver, any of the receivers on the slate were getting that kind of target share. They would be one of the best plays in this mid-tier, like they really would. So I think TJ Hawkinson should have a ton of our interest. Outside of that, tight end position has always been like one this season that I just absolutely hate. Always trying to find some safety. I think for me, like George Kittle versus TJ Hawkinson is really the debate for me. What I might do is just really condense my pool and mix and match those two guys. Brock Purdy to George Kittle right now has been incredible. 8 targets last week, absolutely smashed. Yeah, 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. These guys are connecting on another level. So those are the 2 I like. I want to find one cheap guy though. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I don't hate Cole Kmet at 4,500, but you mentioned Kittle. And look, this is a situation where you can very clearly tie Kittle's recent spike in production to an injury situation with Deebo Samuel. And anytime you can kind of tie it, rather, that way it's not random. It's not just, the dude's getting the ball just because he's got the ball randomly for a couple of weeks. Like, you can very clearly see no Deebo. That means Kittle is getting more work. So, Locks, I like Kittle a lot this week at 5,900.
Yeah, I love Kittle, and I love Hawkinson as well. I'm kind of with AP. I'm okay narrowing my pool down to those 2 guys. I talked about them last Friday, I think, on the Millie show. I said Hawkinson hasn't had his bust-out game yet with Minnesota, and I see it coming. It came. So I think he just continues to get peppered. That game is going to be high-scoring. Interesting stack I've been looking at is Hawkinson with Jefferson, running it back with Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Christian Watson, and call it a day. Just watch yourself build points in the afternoon with all the PMR left. But definitely an interesting spot for me. If you're looking for a cheap tight end, I don't mind like a Jelani Woods at $2,800. He's interesting to me. I can't go back to Robert Tannen. He burned me. He doesn't look like the security blanket that he was last year for Rodgers, because last year he just got peppered, and this year it doesn't look like it. So I can't go there. I can understand if you want to go there in that game stack, but 3,600, I'll pay 2,800 for Jelani Woods instead. So for me, just as first look, I'm looking at Kittle, Hawkinson, probably Jelani Woods. I might throw in a little Cole Kmet because I like Justin Fields and I don't like those cheap receivers. So Kmet to me is interesting at 4,500, but other than that, I don't see much interest in tight end.
A couple cheapies that you could be interested in. Kate Otten, 7 targets last week at 3,200. The problem is when they get down to the red zone, they're just throwing it to the running backs. I know Mike Evans saw like 1 or 2 red zone targets last game. Chris Godwin saw a couple. But it's, Fournette and Rachaad White there. So I don't know. Kate Otten only caught 2 of his 7 targets last week. He's fine. He's not somebody I'm excited about. Daniel Bellinger, I know only saw 2 targets last week, but he was out there a lot. And at 3,200, I do have interest in Daniel Bellinger. Also, AP, are you going with any of these cheap guys? I know you said you wanted to find a cheapie. Have you found any?
I mean, like I think the Jelani Woods, is that what you said? Or like the problem with the Colts is they have so many different tight ends, but Jelani Woods, 2,800 is somewhat interesting. We've been able to target tight ends against the Giants this season, so I think you could go there. I think the other one I'd go to, it's not really value, but Cole Kmet, 4,500 seems to be Justin Fields' favorite target. Another one I would consider, but I do want to focus in on TJ Hawkinson and Kittle. Hawkinson really feels like the safe guy. 5,400 seems like a very nice discount. I mean, how is he any different than some of the like if we think of like the Darren Waller back in the day when he was really getting the target share. I mean, I put him in that same type of category when you look at the targets he's getting, and I feel like he should be 6,300, right? 6,400.
Yeah, he should be 1,000 more. Like if he was a wide receiver, he would be really chalky. Like, and we don't see that a lot of the time at the tight end position. Like he's just a really good play.
I wish he was, because he would be lower owned too. 5,400, I think he's really going to get steamed up this week.
Yeah, but he seems like good chalk to me. Like Kittle, Hawkinson.
On that point, like, don't you guys say we had that stretch? I think it was 4 weeks in a row where the chalk just got destroyed, absolutely destroyed. Yeah. I feel like after last week, and then you look at how this slate sets up, I feel like it's back to where these chalk plays are going to start hitting again. So that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, on my lineup right now has way too much chalk in him. I think Kittle's the way to get different though. Like he'll be owned, but he's not going to be as owned as Hawk. People are going to save the $500 with Hawkinson and just go there. Locks, go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. Kittle crushes. When Samuel's out, Kittle just absolutely freaking crushes. And now that we see his connection with Purdy, I think it's even more of a lock in there, especially against the Raiders. So I don't mind that at all, that low ownership for Kittle.
Yeah. Here, how about a little Kittle, Devontae Adams stack? Does that interest any of you?
Yeah, I'd be down. Or I mean, no. Devontae. I mean, I could get behind that.
I'd rather go Kittle, Jefferson.
Yeah, I get it.
I would too, but if you're talking in-game stacks, like a secondary stack.
In-game stack for sure. Definitely not running it back with Jacobs against the 49ers D.
No, I will not be doing that either. So congrats to Josh Jacobs on your 200 yards rushing. Just way to go, buddy. All right, let's talk some defenses. You want to save a little bit of money? We both hate the Chargers. I think the Rams at 2,400 are perfectly viable. I'm not messing with Houston. I think Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence has figured it out, so I'm not going to go there. The Falcons at 2,700 against Colt McCoy. I have some interest there. The Jets against Geno at 2,800. I do have some interest. AP, what defense are you looking to save with?
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, their defense, I mean, they look good last week, but obviously that was against Russ. But still, I mean, it was nice to see them play with some heart. I thought they were going to completely fold. Maybe Baker just inspired the team somehow. I mean, who knows? He's been pretty pumped up. So, that and then if they get a win, or I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting, especially like with how bad Justin Herbert's been. 3 interceptions last 2 games. So yeah, if I'm looking to save, that's definitely going to be one of the defenses that I look at. I don't think like the Broncos are out of the question just because the rivalry, man. They play Kansas City tough. And while this team is down bad, like really, really, really bad, all due to Russ and maybe Hackett.
You are not playing you're not doing it. You're not playing the Broncos.
I mean, why not? The defense has been good.
You're not doing it.
They're 2,200, and their defense is what's been carrying them. I'm just saying it's a that's how I could get different. It's a rivalry situation. They've played Kansas City tough. They know how to commit. They know how to generate turnovers. I'm saying if you're going cheap, it's not out of the question. Like I do like the Rams a little bit better, but if I needed the salary, needed the savings, I could see playing them just to get contrarian. But it's defense. It's our least favorite position. We talk about it each and every week.
Lox, what do you think down here? You're not playing the Broncos, are you? Let me just X them out. Just give them the X button.
I'm definitely not Xing them out. I keep all these. I keep all these cheap defenses in my pool. I mean, they allow you to get so many other spots, and if no defense scores a touchdown, well, you're golden. You're fine, no matter.
How many points did they have last time against the Chiefs?
Not when they give up 30.
I don't even know.
Yeah, but they. I mean, it's not all about points. I mean, that's a risk, obviously, but if they can get some sacks and turnovers.
I'll throw one.
Right, last time they had 7 against Kansas City.
There you go. I would take that.
They gave up 30.
I would snap call that.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Mahomes isn't going to have 3 interceptions again.
I would like to agree with you there too.
I think if Tua's out, I'd be fine going to New England's D at 2,600.
I absolutely agree with that. I like New England's D quite a bit. You know, Belichick, look, he's going to be facing an offense that is going to be missing their starting quarterback. That I don't know, man. Like, I know that the Miami offense it's predicated on 2 guys, and I just trust Belichick to be able to take those 2 guys away. And then what are they going to do? So I like New England quite a bit. Sorry, Lox, go on. I stole your thunder.
No, you're good. In all honesty, that was one of the only ones I was looking at, other than the Rams, which is very interesting too at 2,400. But I was going to say, we all need to get together and just get a hold of DK to take out the defense's position in general.
AP, you've got some sway.
I can't stand the defense.
I mean, on DK, they don't listen to us. I mean, they don't care about the DFS side of things. I mean, if they did, they would have covered Lox and all the boys at the NFL Live final. They had 0 tweets about it that day. I mean, that's one thing I'll just never forget and never understand, but it's crazy. What about the Jets? Can we go back to they've struggled, I think, defensively without their stud defensive who is that? Their big defensive end. D-line. You guys know I'm talking. Chat. But
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
right now.
They've struggled. It seems like they've struggled a little bit, but against Seattle here, I think maybe the Jets a little bit interesting. They feel a little too cheap if they're healthy defensively.
Yeah, 2,800. I have no problem with that. Like Geno, I mean, he can have big games and he can have big games for the defense.
The other one I'll say is the Packers, just because Kirk Cousins, we've seen in these spots, the guy could, come out, throw 3 interceptions, and then come back and be a hero for his team. So don't rule out the Packers as well. 2,300.
Or the 49ers in that same regard with Derek Carr.
Yeah. Yep. Love those two.
They're 2,900.
Yep. And then, I mean, if you look in the chat says, I'm going to spin up for the Eagles. That's great. If you find the $4,000 to spin it for the Eagles, congratulations.
Yeah, what do you guys usually like? How many defenses, if you're multi-entering, how many defenses are you typically playing in a week?
5.
For me, sorry, go ahead, Crane.
5 defenses. What I try and do. Sorry, I've got somebody joining the show right now. He's been so good, and here we are.
Yeah, AP, I kind of go off of feel for me, but I generally dumb it down to, I'd say 5 or 6 is what I try to get down to.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'll even narrow it down to like 3 or 4 if I got a strong stance. But generally, it's all like under $3,200 defenses. I never really pay up unless it's a smash spot.
I'm usually between 1 and 4, but I like just to make my stand. Sometimes it hurts. It's painful, especially when you don't have that defense that's semi-chalk that gets you a touchdown and stuff. I mean, it can definitely be painful.
Oh yeah, no, it's if you can, and again, if you can spend up for these defenses, like, if I'm multi-entering, I like to just kind of choose different defenses in different price tiers. Like, okay, I'll leave the Eagles in, then I'll go down to, let's say, the Jaguars. Then I'll have the Jets in there. go down, have the Rams in there, and have the New England in there. So like that's kind of what I like to do. I sort of like to stack the tiers, and then that way, I like to make decisions. Of course, defense is very random, and it can screw you if you don't have the right one. But you can't just try and play all of them. So 5 is pretty much the max I go with. I try and go fewer if I can. All right, Locks. Any other defense thoughts for you?
No, nothing else for defense. Replace the defense with the kickers.
No, let's not do that.
I have very little to say about defense.
Look,
as I always do.
Spend down.
DK,
that's what I got to say.
You're listening, and I know DK, you guys are big fans of the show. We appreciate you watching. DK, I'm sure you're clicking the like button too. Appreciate that. But if you're listening, go ahead and just make it super flex. This is very simple. How much fun would it be this week to have Goff, Fields, Amon-Ra, and Kmet combinations? Like, how much fun would that be? Rather than rooting for a Patriots defensive touchdown.
That'd be blast.
That would be like college has it right. I will say college definitely has it right.
College is way more fun. Like it's just a better fantasy product. So if you're out there, DK, like I said, appreciate you clicking the like button, but go ahead and like what we're suggesting and implement it for next year. We got to get going, guys. It has been a lot of fun. AP, any final thoughts on the slate for you?
No, I mean, it just looking at, high level overview of the slate, it feels like one where you're going to want a little bit of chalk mixed into your lineups. I mean, we're always, there's always going to be ways to get different, but it does seem like there are certain spots we just have to target this week.
Locks, any final thoughts on the slate for you?
No, that's a good call. It looks like one of those weeks where some chalk's going to hit again. Don't be afraid to play it and just get different elsewhere. Spend down a defense. And just don't overthink it. That's the main thing I got to say is just don't overthink things. If you like the way it falls, don't be like, what if this guy does this? Just roll with it. Roll with your gut and run.
Yeah, there are a lot of really good plays. My final thoughts are living in that mid-tier at running back. I think it's going to be a very smart way to go. The ETNs of the world, the Akers, Ramondre, Algier, Dylan, if something happens to Aaron Jones, Montgomery. Like there are just so many good mid-tier running back plays. Can you spin up for McCaffrey? Sure. Can you spin up for Barkley? Absolutely. I don't think it's necessary this week. We got to get going though. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you stay tuned. We got more shows from Run for Your Sports coming up soon. For AP, for Locks, for Simon Produce, and I'm Eric. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Peace.